Hello, my name is John Ratzlaff. This is for FTH 202 revolvers. This is going to be our final assignment here on the video, and it's really a reflection over everything we've learned. I do just want to start out and say that this course has been the most informative course that I have taken with SDI, and I have completed the um, associate's degree of firearm technology. Maybe it's just all those courses have been great, but this one specifically I just learned the most. Maybe it's because I was unfamiliar the most with revolvers, but either way, I can't say enough specifically about this course. And if there was one that I would recommend out of all the ones I've had so far, it would personally just be the revolver one. But let's just go in really quick to the general health of revolvers. That's our first step. So I am going to just go ahead and grab this revolver here. It's been pointed in a safe direction. I'm going to go ahead and show you that there's no ammunition inside of the barrel or inside of our cylinder. So we're all clear there. First thing I want to get into within our assignment is just the general health. So the general health would be overall the cycle of operation. And that just really goes back to the start. So you really want to just know and just make sure that all those things are functioning right. And obviously the biggest one is you're going to just start. I kind of look at it in like two things that we learned from the textbook. So you want to do empty and dry. So empty, we know this gun is unloaded. We'll just double check it again, point in safe direction, no ammunition, all that stuff on the work table. But you can check it for, our double action trigger pull. Is everything lining? Is everything smooth? Yes, everything's caulking into place. Everything's running smooth, specifically on this one. But those are things you want to test for. Also, too, if you're having an issue or maybe something's like still running good there, grab some of that, grab some of your dummy ammunition. Put that in there. See what's going on. Also, too, check your headspace. Make sure your headspace is good with those go and no go gauges. But regardless, you can obviously take the firearm apart. We have our hand that's moving. We have our cylinder stop. We have our transfer bar. We have our trigger with our sear. We have our springs. Like there's lots of things to look for, and even our cylinder itself. You want to make sure that that's nice and tight, and just everything's fitting good, right? And most of the time you're going to be able to tell, I'm sure, if there's something off or if something's loose. That's really going to be my main thing too. I'm looking for, even if the firearm comes to me and like, there's something a little off, but that would just be me personally. But you also just, if you can, go do a live fire exercise. Just go ahead and send a live round through it, or a few of them, and look at the spent brass. That can also tell a lot if there's malfunctions or anything with the firearm. And that too, obviously, with doing that, all those checks that you did before might be good, but maybe the recoil of the firearm as well is something that is causing the malfunction. So that's kind of number one. Number two, I just want to go over here. So, like, I listed 10 things, and 10 things I have is number one, just inspection from an external part, just inspecting this. There's certain things that we learned that you want to check for. You want to make sure that your rod for your cylinder isn't bent. Maybe that's common, maybe it's not. You want to make sure that, you don't have any external damage or, things aren't loose. And then number two is just an inspection from a internal part. You want to take your grip off, take your side plate off, and you want to get into the nitty gritty and make sure that your springs are good, your hands working. Just really inspect everything inside. Learning the history too. I did put this on there, but learning the history of revolver in depth was pretty neat, and just knowing how Colt evolved over time and how Smith and Wesson and other just competitors came into the market and how they extended not only in the United States but in Europe and Egypt and things like that. So that was pretty neat. Polishing certain areas, number four. That really helped a lot, knowing how to look for things like that, which completely made sense to me, but it was just good to know that and how marking those things can also help. Number five, knowing how to inspect the overall health of the revolver, just like we talked in the first step. So just being able to go over and knowing and understanding the cycle of operations is huge. And, that's something that, to me, it's the basics. And it's probably why it was our number one question, too. So, um, number six, just how much to pay attention to like a sloppy cylinder play is critical for timing. Like that maybe sounds like common sense, but maybe sometimes it can be overlooked just because people might not know how much play there should be. Number seven is just how to shim that cylinder as well if needed. That was pretty interesting on knowing what we need to do to make that happen. And then number eight is how important the role of just that double action sear is on a double action revolver, like the one that we had. And then how important a cylinder lock is. I mean, it might sound silly as well, but that cylinder lock is critical for that operation. Not like anything else isn't, but I mean, that cylinder stop is just a small piece, and it's very critical for that lock to lock up that cylinder at the right time. And then number 10 is just how important the maintenance is. Some people, maybe regardless of how much they shoot or what climate they live in, kind of just like any other firearm, you really do want to just make sure this is maintained. You keep good care of it. You're cleaning the outside of it. You're watching certain parts internally, making sure that, the inside of that is lubricated how it should be and not overdone. But, we learned very quickly within polishing and then lubricating, like a lot of that stuff, makes a huge difference in just the way that this revolver feels. So kind of going into number three here, just discuss, our unique features that were found within the double action revolver platform. So, I mean, I got to say probably like number one is just going to be the fact that double action trigger itself. So the double action trigger itself stands out. Um, that's definitely a very unique part of any double action revolver itself. But um, I think that number two is going to be that cylinder and that index system. So, I mean, it might be really simple to us now, but kind of how we learned and did some research on is that those cylinder indexes kind of weren't reliable at the very beginning, and the ones that we have today in modern just made it a lot better, easier, safer, kind of the whole nine. So the next one too is just going to be like the transfer bar. So the transfer bar itself, with how you have to completely pull the trigger for the firearm to actually fire, was huge, and I think that made double action revolvers very safe compared to earlier designs. And yeah, just I think that's really what got people carrying them more, was when that did come around. And then the last one that I kind of had was just the barrel being fixed to the frame. So kind of just makes everything just reliable. The simplicity design of the entire weapon system is pretty awesome. Just to me, the revolver reminds me just of a good old bolt action. It might not be fancy, but it's extremely reliable. You can depend on it, and it's hard to beat. So, I mean, with modern advances and what we have today that I just went over, I think there's some key points that are just unique features of the double action and make it what it is today. So thank you very much, and just want to shout out to our instructor Shannon. He was awesome through this whole thing. It definitely was one of those things where, with all of his heads up and just announcements, and just I think the overall course itself, very appreciative of him, and just want to say thanks again, and hope you have a good one. Take care. Bye.